Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to another video on my channel. So I want to say thank you for the comments that I've been getting on my long form videos but also on my shorts, because lately it has been feeling as if I was talking to a wall because no one commented or I didn't get those many views. But really, I am thankful for you guys that at least someone commented or did stuff. It made me feel as if it was worth it to post. I was sitting there at lunch, eating by myself, and I started to gain some more realizations about loneliness because it was a feeling that I was experimenting inside of myself. And I'll happily share those opinions that I have on loneliness or some realizations that I understood with you guys. Personally, when I get a wave of loneliness inside of myself, it feels as if I don't have the motivation to do anything anymore. It feels as if my spark inside of myself is gone. It feels as if something slowly pulls me away from myself. I don't feel like myself when I feel lonely. It feels as if I am disconnected by myself. And really, all of the energy starts to disappear. I just feel empty when I feel lonely. Sometimes we tend to associate loneliness with having no friends or having no one near you, which is partially true, but I mainly think that feeling lonely comes from not being connected with ourselves. When we lack purpose, when we are temporarily dissociated because maybe we are too deep in our thoughts or we have negative thoughts and stuff like that, we don't really feel connected with ourselves and we start to feel lonely because you could have people that could back you up right now. You could have someone that speaks to you, but if you are too deep in your negative storm of thoughts, you won't be able to notice that and you still feel lonely. One of the worst things that could ever happen to you is the feeling of losing yourself. Because, sometimes when we lose a friend or we lose our partner or we lose maybe someone we even cared about or we were tied to, it might hurt at first, but then eventually you'll slowly get over it. But when you lose yourself, you lose everything because you literally live with your own body, you live with your own soul, with your own mind. And when you start to lose connection within all of those three elements, you don't know who you are as a person anymore. Your feelings will be distorted, your thoughts will be distorted. You won't be knowing what your soul purpose actually is. You don't know where you're walking, You're just disconnected from yourself, and this is one of the worst feelings that could ever happen to someone. Even right now that you're watching this video, be thankful to yourself that you actually endured all of these battles alone. You carried a heavy weight on your shoulders and you didn't ask anyone for help. You could have asked for help, but maybe sometimes we don't have the conditions to ask for help to someone, because we're unable to do that. Maybe because we have our own traumas that we haven't healed, or maybe because there's obstacles that are put right in front of us and we can't really reach out for help. So what we have left is ourselves. Once we have ourselves together, everything can fall into place. Alright, so guys, let me say out loud what I've read on my notebook about loneliness. You sit there and think, oh wow, no matter how many things I do through my day, it feels like nothing really satisfies me anymore. That feeling of loneliness, that feeling of disconnection from the world, as if you are forgotten and you can't feel the bond with yourself in the first place. You can be alone and still be happy, but when you feel lonely, it's a whole different story. You don't even feel or perceive yourself anymore. It's as if you are dissociated from yourself. Loneliness also comes with comparison. You compare your life to someone else, thinking that they have it all figured out and that nobody hears your pain or wishes. You can still feel lonely even in a crowded place or in a group of friends or even with your best friend. So what I ask myself is loneliness about being friendless and without people, or is it a disconnection from who you are as a person, such as a lack of purpose? Maybe it's a combination of both. If you're always on your own, what part of you can you offer or share with someone? If we let our thoughts be our biggest enemies, how can we experience the beauty in life and give ourselves love? There's quite a difference to me between actually being alone and feeling lonely, because being alone means that you might not have anyone in your life, but you have yourself. Because when you say, I am alone, you know that you don't have someone in your life, a different person from you, but you know that you have yourself. You still have yourself and you feel that bond with yourself. And this is why you can still be happy, even if temporarily you might not have anyone in your life, but you have yourself and you can move onto your path with yourself. When you feel lonely, it's really even worse than being alone, because when you are alone, you have that connection with yourself. But when you feel lonely, you are dissociated from yourself, like I've written. You just don't perceive yourself, okay? It feels as if you're just existing. It doesn't feel like you are worth moving forward. To me, when people say, oh, I feel lonely, it's because it's depression. Like depression equals feeling lonely sometimes, because depression thrives on not seeing the purpose in what you're doing. It's simply just existing, lingering for, a life that doesn't really satisfies you, because you're not aligned with your soul. So the same is feeling lonely. You don't feel connected with yourself, and as well, you don't have anyone in your life, but you're just existing, you're just surviving, hoping that the next day comes and that you can just live for the whole day not doing anything, and just hoping that maybe eventually you don't even wake up from this nightmare. It happened one night during my vacation, right? I went to this beautiful city where it was enlightened with a lot of lights. There were a lot of stores, a lot of people were in the streets, right? And I was in this vacation with my family, right? So I hang out with my family, but I still felt lonely inside of myself. Why? Because I was surrounded with people that simply didn't meet my values. And when you hang out with the wrong people, you also start to lose track with who you are as a person. I saw other people, even people my age, that were walking by with their friends, and it felt as if I experienced nostalgia inside of myself. It felt as if I was grieving something that I was maybe meant to experience as well, but I couldn't experience until this day, right? And it was a strange feeling, because I really felt a huge pit in my stomach, because it was sadness, because it felt as if I was stuck in a condition that didn't really align with who I want to be. And this is why I felt lonely that night. I felt as if I didn't exist. It's important that, to me, you shouldn't chase people. And as well, you shouldn't really beg for someone to stay in your life if they're harmful, if they're toxic to you. Stop following the lead, okay? You don't need people in your life that are toxic to you. Just, the good people, the right people for you will come at the right time. Meanwhile, while you're waiting, stop chasing people. Stop chasing things just to avoid loneliness, just to avoid this feeling of, I am alone and stuff like that. Start focusing on yourself. Start focusing on how you can improve your life. Maybe on your looks, maybe expanding your knowledge, maybe becoming more creative, becoming financially stable. Just find one reason as to why you can focus on yourself. Don't be desperate to look for people, because when you are desperate to either chase a goal or chase someone or chase something, that thing will not come to you, because desperation is such an energy that is repulsive to actually reaching the outcome that you want. How can you reach the outcome? You can reach the outcome when you are focused in your own authenticity, when you show up for yourself, when you think about yourself before anyone else, which isn't being selfish, but it's simply understanding that if you do not think about yourself first, people are simply going to walk on you and you'll never receive anything from life. You stay stuck on the same exact level. constantly regretting and constantly thinking that you should improve your life, but you never put the effort in doing that. So you'll still be at war with yourself. Also, I would like to add, don't do bad things to yourself just to cope with the feeling of loneliness, because I've really gone through that. It wasn't easy. I developed an addiction with some apps, that were unhealthy to me, just to run away from the feeling of loneliness that I was feeling at night, right? But then I regretted that a lot, and it built a sense of shame that I'm still healing from this. I'm still healing from this thing. Just don't use bad coping mechanisms to cope with intense, uncomfortable emotions. Just let yourself feel these emotions, because maybe your body is meant to experience these emotions to finally let them out. But don't ruin yourself with that, because yourself is precious. Just focus on improving yourself, on becoming healthy, in just doing healthy things for yourself. Sometimes we're meant to be alone because it's meant to make us grow as people. You can be alone for maybe 1 year, 3 years, 10 years, whatever, because maybe you're meant to grow in that time span, But I would say, don't live your life completely alone. Surround yourself with people that are actually worth of your time. If you surround yourself with people that are toxic to you, those people will just drag your life down, and you won't be able to recognize yourself. And as I said before, you lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, you lose everything, because your life shatters. So what I recommend is, don't chase. Just trust God's time, all right? Trust the universe, While you are waiting, see it as this way, okay? While you're waiting to actually get the right people for yourself, focus on improving on yourself. Set small goals for yourself, weekly or monthly. Improve your life. Just improve your life. And trust me, when you actually put the effort in improving who you are as a person, everything will gravitate around you. And when you're not desperate to look or to get the thing will simply come to you, because it is aligned. It is just how you structure your subconscious mind. The thing will just come. It's law of attractiveness. So you just have to, be magnetic and be authentic with your own aura and energy in order to attract that thing into your life. It's really when you are detached from that thing, but also attached to yourself, that you give yourself improvement, that you attract other things. When you find meaningful people, you will be able to extend your roots, as I say, Maybe we have a lot of values, and we recognize those values by being alone sometimes. But when you are able to share those values to other people, you are able to extend your roots as well. How many times have you actually felt love for a person? Maybe, I don't know, it was a friend, and you gave the friend a letter for their birthday, right? And you wrote down about all of the beautiful moments that you spent together and how much the person meant to you, You saw that your friend read the thing, and then they start crying, maybe due to the happiness and everything. How did that make you feel? I bet that thing made you feel better about yourself. It felt as if it was an extension of your work, because you actually shared a feeling, a good feeling, authentic to yourself, that you had to someone else. And when someone else appreciates that, it makes us feel as if we are extending ourselves. Because sometimes we grow by sharing and by helping out other people with our knowledge. Just like, for example, I'm doing with this video. I have this knowledge for myself, but I'm also giving you guys these thoughts that I have, because maybe it could be helpful to someone. Maybe, 10 people will watch this video, okay. But at least I gave this knowledge to 10 people that watch this video, which is already meaningful to me. You know how loneliness really makes you feel. I've been through that. I sometimes still feel like this. I just perfectly know how it feels. But the true question that you should ask yourself when you really say, because you say, oh, I feel lonely, you should ask yourself, am I actually connected with myself or am I disconnected with myself? Because I guarantee you 100% that every time that you feel lonely, you are disconnected from yourself. Maybe because there's something that you haven't processed. There's that obstacle that you're afraid to face and that is blocking you from feeling connected with yourself. Number one thing to block loneliness is by feeling connected with yourself, because you can be alone, but you can still be happy because you're putting the effort in yourself. And when you trust God's time, that He will just bring the right people into your life, everything will start to make more sense, and you start to be thankful that you were able to grow in this alone time of yours. So expand your faith, really believe in yourself, and put the effort in becoming a better person, because when you become a better person, you also attract the right people for you. I hope that I was useful, sorry. And yeah, see you in the next video. I love you guys. Bye.